Hello everyone, welcome in. This is Meadow Veil. I'm here to share with you today how to use floral foam in a fresh floral arrangement project that you may have. Today I am using Dollar Tree items mostly in my floral arrangement, but you can use any type of items that you would choose to use. I'm just kind of showing an affordable way to have a really beautiful, nice, kind of almost, I'm not a professional florist by any means, but just to share another technique on how to display beautiful flowers in your home. And floral foam is something that I just recently started using, and I absolutely love working with it. It is so easy, it is so much fun. So I just thought it'd be nice to do a brief tutorial today to kind of show how that project works. So this floral foam here I picked up at Dollar Tree. They have the wet. So when you're picking floral foam, please be sure to read that it says wet floral foam, and it will say for fresh floral arrangements. That is so important because you need to wet this. If you buy the other floral foam that they sell that's for dry flowers and it's a dry foam, it will not absorb the water properly and you will kill your flowers. So that is like huge pointer number one, is to ensure that you have the proper floral foam, because not all floral foam is created equal when it comes to fresh flower arrangements. So you want the wet floral foam. And I believe I picked this up, I think it was $1.75 at Dollar Tree, which, to be honest, I would not say is the most economical purchase for this. I actually picked up a really big pack of it from Michael's, and I got way more foam for, like, I think it was $4 or $5, but I got like quadruple the amount of this foam. So again, just it depends if you plan on using this quite a bit. If this is just like a one-time trial, this will do beautifully for you. And this is also my first time using this floral foam from Dollar Tree as well. So highly recommend that. And I wanted to show how simple this truly is. So I've actually pre-soaked some other floral foam in advance because it does take about 10 minutes to soak your floral foam with water in a bucket. And for the interest of time, I just thought I would cut that part out for us, but wanted to show you how to get started with this. So we have our block of floral foam, and then I have a serrated edge knife. So this part here with the teeth, that is the best knife to cut through this floral foam, and it literally cuts like butter. It doesn't involve a lot of pressure or strength. And then the next key ingredient here is your vase, your vessel that you want to use. So this is one that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I think it was $1.50 or $1.25 earlier on in the summer. So I got this a few months ago, but I really liked it because it kind of had this texture with the crackled kind of, it's matte and it just has that kind of crackly texture on it. So I just thought that was beautiful. But what's really important is the bottom cannot have a hole, because you do not want your water falling everywhere with your floral foam. So if you have a vessel that does not have a hole on the bottom, that is key. That will really help you. If you only have a vessel with a hole on the bottom, not to worry, you can still use it, but you need to line it with a like a part of a trash bag, like a paper bag, or sorry, a plastic bag needs to be lining it, just to ensure that the water does not spill out everywhere on you. So, so this is the vessel I'll be using. Again, mine does not have a hole in the bottom, and it's just a small little fun little vase here, but just to show how this works. So you want to fit this block of foam into the shape of your vessel. So I actually had a ton of kind of tinier pieces that I needed to cut, but again, I did that beforehand so that I could soak it in advance. But let's just, for the sake of this video, we'll just kind of do a nice big block. But see how easy this is to just cut right through the foam, and you cut the block and then you place it. So in here, sorry, I'm just making sure you can see this because it's kind of dark on dark in here. See how there's play around the foam? So now you want to cut little pieces to kind of fill that space with your foam. So that's what I did with my other block of foam. So that's how you get started with that. Again, it's not rocket science. You just kind of eyeball it, and if it's still too big, you just cut it down again. Super easy to cut, super easy to use. So now we're going to use, so this is my bucket of floral foam that I have. So this is what I've been soaking our floral foam in. Here, let me show you really quick what it looks like when it's in there. So for the floral foam, another important part is while it's soaking in your bucket, it has to sink on its own. So you'll put it in and it will just float to the top. Here, sorry, I'm going to change my camera angle. Oops. There we go. So you can see. So that's the floral foam in the water, and it has been sitting, I've had this going for about 10 minutes now, soaking in the bucket with my foam. And it will just sink down once it's saturated on its own. Do not push it down, because the whole point is that it needs to be able to move and sink on its own, because that's how it's basically saying that it's full and it's saturated and it's ready to be used. So you don't want to force the process. Just be patient and let the foam do its magic in the water. And then once it sinks down and is looking pretty saturated, then you're ready. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take my, I'm going to try to do this with the least amount of mess possible. I don't know if that's going to be achieved today, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so here's my vessel here. I'm going to grab the big chunk of foam here and just plop it in. And then, like I said, I cut a lot of little pieces to fit into this foam section. So I'm going to go ahead and start, adding those in as I had them. Actually, I think I have this one here, but it's okay. It's just kind of like a little puzzle. So no worries, just kind of get in there, do your best to get it as filled as you can. Again, you don't need to be perfect here. Just kind of get your little chunks in there so that you can put beautiful flowers into it and help keep them saturated and alive while they're in there. Beautiful. I think this is where I landed. Okay, great. So this is where, again, I wish my lighting was a little bit brighter to show you, but I have just like pieces upon pieces, kind of like a puzzle piece in there of the wet saturated foam. Okay, so now I'm going to get the bucket out of here so that we can get to the fun part, which is the flowers and the arranging portion. So I didn't have time to go and get flowers at the store today, so I just foraged from my own garden. And I don't necessarily always like doing that, because I like to leave the flowers for the bees and the hummingbirds and all those beautiful critters that we love and adore. But sometimes it's nice to enjoy the plants that you spend all the time kind of planting and growing and seeing flourish through the years. So I did go through my garden. So here are my flowers that I picked. And I put this in another vessel to just keep them there, keep them happy with water while we're waiting to arrange them. And this vessel is also a Dollar Tree glass vessel that I got. So again, these are Dollar Tree items that are very handy and work just as well as any other, higher end, beautiful vessel. But again, just use what works for you. So what we want to do is we want to clean the flowers. So luckily my daisies really don't have a lot of foliage on them. And I'm talking about like these little green pieces here. So you can snip them or kind of pull them very carefully just to get the stalk clean. And then when you cut your flowers, you want it to be at an angle so that it can push through the foam. And then you can put it in and rearrange as you desire. So like if that just didn't really look right and you wanted to just put it somewhere else, you can. But the rule of thumb is once you put it in, really kind of do your best to leave it, because you're creating extra holes in your foam and it will dry out the foam faster. So you want to keep it as saturated with moisture as you possibly can. So you literally just stick the flower into the foam and just start arranging around. And you can play with the different heights, however you want to do it. I was just kind of thinking just to make it a little bit easier today. Again, I am not a professional florist by any means, so I'm just going to clean up the little green foliage here, kind of give them a snip, clean it up a bit. And if you find that you have like a little like a little nub or a knuckle in a flower stem, you want to kind of cut, if you can, kind of cut that off so that when you stick it into the foam, it doesn't have like a huge gaping hole from the knuckle. Again, we really want to make sure that the foam is staying saturated and wet as we get going. So yeah, there, I'm just kind of adding the flowers as I go. And I've cleaned some of them I have not pre-cleaned because this is like the hardest part I would say about floral arranging is and then you got to be really careful how you put it in. So be gentle when you're placing it into the foam because you can break the stems. I've done it a million times. You can even see I'm still kind of struggling just to get this to stay straight on me. So again, be gentle with the stems as you're placing them in. Go really easy and gentle. And so yeah, here's a great example of one to clean. So here's a daisy that I need to clear off all the green foliage off of it so that I can stick it into the foam without causing issues. And then I'll try to clean that stalk up, that little stem, a little bit better so I don't have big chunks interrupting the foam. So yeah, just kind of cleaning this up. Hopefully you can still see this as I'm going, cleaning the flower. Just wanted to give a couple examples of what it looks like to actually clean a few. And then, like I said, I had most of them kind of pre-cut and pre-cleaned to just for the interest of time. So what I'm going to do on this one, just because there's a lot of like little knuckles, is I'm just going to kind of do this very gently just to kind of clean some of that off. Again, so I can plop it into my foam without any issues. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm just going to go around. I'm just, like I said, for the sake of time, I don't have like a grandiose pattern or design here. I'm just going to line the edge with the daisies and then put my taller, puffier flowers in the middle is kind of what my plan is here in my head. But again, you're the artist. You decide. You get to figure out what speaks to you with your design. And if you decide they're just a little bit too tall, you can always change it. So again, it's super flexible. You know, you can do what you want with it. You're in control of how the flowers go. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's not perfectly symmetrical, like I have a few daisies that are evenly spaced and this one's kind of on top of another one, that's okay too. Again, it's your design. It's nature. I feel like you really can't make flowers ugly. That is my philosophy on flowers. Even if you kind of do an odd pattern or design, who cares? The flowers do the speaking, right? Like they're the star of the show, and that's kind of how I treat it. So here we go. So we're gonna do this. Oh, beautiful. Actually, I might cut that one down a little bit more. So that one I cleaned in advance, so that was a quick, easy plop in. So see how fast this is? Once you get the flowers cleaned, it really goes pretty quickly to just go around and put your flowers in. So that is the beauty of this project here. Let me share with you. I've got to clean up another little flower here. Actually, I'm going to trim this puppy down a little bit. And I'll kind of scrape those off. There are proper floral tools. Again, I am not a florist. I don't claim to be a florist, but yeah, there's like floral knives and shears that you can kind of skim and clean much easier and much nicer than what I'm doing. Again, I'm just using my household items that I have because I'm not really at a point to invest quite a bit of money in floral instruments, but who knows? Maybe in the future I might, but right now this is just kind of my fun thing that I do at home for myself with my garden and my flowers, and it's just for me to enjoy. Like, I'm not selling these. These don't go to anyone. They just sit in my house and I get to look at them and, adore them and be happy looking at them. So this is who it's for. It's for me. And that's how I like just really curb, because I will admit, when I first started doing floral arrangements, I was horrible at it. Like, I have never been good at like arranging the different textures and heights and layers and all of that. Like, I'm kind of really bad at that. That's not really my strong suit. So I had a hard time being new at this and just, you know, being open to trying. But once you get in there and you learn the little techniques and the tips and tricks in different classes that I took, it really helped me overcome my fear of that. And it really helped me overcome my perfectionism streak that, it's okay to be new at something. It doesn't have to be 100%. Um, just have fun and love it and enjoy it. And I absolutely love and enjoy flowers. So for me, that is my ultimate like fun projects that I like to work on. So I do have a hydrangea that I wanted to kind of stick in the middle here. Again, I'm kind of doing some different items, and this hydrangea is kind of leaning a little bit. Again, if I were a professional florist, there are ways to wire this to make it stand up straight, but I don't, that doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. It is a little top heavy, so it will kind of need to rest on something, and that's okay. I'm not upset at that. And then I wanted to do some taller kind of snapdragons along with it. So I'm just gonna have some different height in the middle. Like I said, this is just for me. This is just my fun little creation for me. And does it look like a professional florist? No, but that's okay. it's it's for my home. It's what I want to do for me. So again, I'm just going to continue going forward and like sticking more daisies in, but just to give you an idea of the gist of it, this is where I'm kind of at the moment. And I do have other hydrangeas. I may go snip a few more just to kind of fill in that middle a little bit better. And then I need about another 4 or 5 daisies here for the edge. So that's what's nice about using your garden, is you can kind of eyeball how many flowers, because I kind of cut less than I need to start because I don't like wasting flowers. But even if I did have too many, I would just keep them in a vase um, and in a different vessel. So that's just kind of the general overview. I really just wanted to share how to use this, how to play with floral foam, how to get started, because again, I am very new to floral designing. I am no professional by any means. I'm just an everyday person that just loves flowers. So um, I hopefully you can relate to just being that too, and just wanting to do something beautiful for yourself and for your home. So again, I'm going to keep filling this in as we go, but I just wanted to share how that works. And then how to continue watering with the floral foam. So what you'll do is you'll need to kind of put your finger down into the foam and feel if it feels kind of dry. That's when you'll add more water to it. So this will stay wet for, depending on the flowers. So some flowers drink more water than others. So that really does depend on the flowers you're using. So I would say just check it every day and just see, does it feel moist and wet, or does it feel dry and crinkly? If it's kind of dry and you don't feel any water, you want to pour the water on the top of the foam so that the foam can absorb it in. And these will last you a good long while, the floral foam will. And the reason I think I'm really enjoying floral foam the most is because, I have a hard time being very diligent about cleaning out my water every day or every other day in a vase. So like in a standard vase like this, you can see the water's already kind of getting murky already. and I just put the flowers in. So it's like you really have to be on top of the water if you keep it in a regular vase, and you cannot have your greenery in the water like that, or it will just cause mold and bacteria. So that's why with the floral foam, I'm loving it because it just minimizes a lot of those issues um, with the water. So that's why I just think this is kind of a neat little way, and it holds the flowers in the perfect position that you want. Like here I am tilting it, and the flowers are just staying put. So that's also something that's really nice. You don't have to use floral foam, or sorry, floral tape to keep it standing up. You know, your foam is doing that for you. So again, it's just like a different way, different medium to put your plants into a vase or a vessel and just enjoy it in a pretty pattern that you choose to create. Excellent. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And until next time, goodbye.